Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Tuesday night Blueprint for Success. My name is Jocelyn Charles. I am your host tonight for our Build Your Best Life platform, and we have a special guest with us. Our special guest is Dr. Tamara Antonino. Welcome, Tamara. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing good, doing good. How about you?
I am doing well. We had to get over some hiccups, and you may still hear some delays to our viewers who are tuning in, but please just tune in anyway and overlook that. The echoes, make sure that you get it twice, right? So that you don't miss anything. And so we're just going to work right on through these technical difficulties. You can love or hate technology, but we get a lot done with it and we just make it do what it do, right? I am excited to be here. And for our viewers who are tuning in, you are in for a special treat as we discuss balance in an unbalanced world. So please get your notepads out, your pens, invite some individuals to tune in, some mothers with sons, and um, share and like this video. If you are tuning in on YouTube, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and also share it with some other mothers or young men that you know that's on their way to college or could be just struggling in that area as they transition into young adulthood, because this topic is relevant to them as well. And so, again, my name is Jocelyn Charles. I am a licensed financial specialist, district leader. I am a mother of a son as well. I juggle things in corporate America and in church ministry. So, as many moms know that we wear many hats. So, Dr. Tamara, thank you again for being with us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
We are delighted to have you back and to share your expertise on the importance of balance in individuals' lives. Please tell everyone your passion.
So, first, let me tell you about who I am. So, I am Dr. Tamara Antonino. I am a wife, mother, daughter, sister, auntie, all that. Also, entrepreneur. So, I have a master's and doctorate degree in occupational therapy. I am currently working with kids and parents on balancing and just that role of being a parent. And so it became a passion just as I see mothers as well, me personally going through that, where we are giving our all and we're not basically not using our resources. And our kids are our resources, and just neglecting our balance, neglecting our peace, and then expecting ourselves to work from an empty cup. So that's kind of how I got into the position that I am doing now.
Okay. You work with people who face challenges or challenging life circumstances. What first inspired you to dedicate your career to helping others rebuild and find balance?
Um, I think just seeing the struggle. So one, it's for when I was working with adults, it started with the stress and the balance of being the caregiver to a parent. So, but everybody thinks of a caregiver as someone who's either paid and they're taking care of a senior, or a daycare worker, something like that. But as a parent, we're also caregivers. We are caring for our young children, but we don't look at it like that. And so when I'm seeing moms that are trying to work at here, and the things are being missed, the as in the child, it reflects in the child's behavior, it reflects in your work, it reflects in everything. So I decided that as I'm seeing this and seeing kind of also in the African American community, there's a lot of kind of lack of information or misinformation, or um I guess you could say lack of knowledge, when I'm seeing where there are some people who are labeling things one way, and they're trying to handle things in that situation, and it's just adding stress and adding more to them, and there's an easier way. And so constantly seeing this, and then constantly seeing our kids sometimes get a label and then they're kind of pushed aside, and it hinders them, and it's like the child could fully flourish, but because they were given some label or given something where their needs weren't supported, it becomes a big problem. And I feel like every child, no matter where they are in their life, they have something to give and they have something to offer, and as parents we got to try to figure out how to get that going, get that right.
That's very important, and that means a lot to me. And a lot of parents, I know it should mean a lot to everyone, but I have a special needs daughter, and she was diagnosed with autism at 3. And so there's a stigma that comes with that, unfortunately, and many think that she's limited to what she can do, or how she can express herself, or what she can be involved in. And there was sometimes I had to advocate for her
Hmm.
because someone thought that that she shouldn't be in a certain space, and they didn't want to be liable for her, and I'm like, well, she's fine, if and so I've been in that place as a parent where someone tried to keep her in a box, and so that's very important and great work that you do.
Thank you, thank you. I love it, and I hope that other people that are around you, especially since between autism, ADHD, those are very common um, labels that get put on kids, and then there's a ceiling that people put on them.
Yeah.
They don't technically have to have that ceiling, but there's a ceiling that people put on them because they have that label, and then it hinders them. And it's so I'm happy that you at least had the knowledge to go out to be her advocate so that she can do what she can do. And that's my whole thing. Be that advocate.
Yes. Yes, it makes a world of a difference. As someone who knows or who helps people build their best lives, what patterns do you see that hold people back? And how can they start breaking those cycles?
I think the first pattern is the lack of knowledge. When you don't know, you don't do.
Mm,
And so, and it goes back to labels. Just putting that label on somebody. And sometimes it's not even a necessary label. I was talking to a mother one time, and she said, "Ah, I think my child is ADHD. He's just bouncing off the walls and all that." And it really came down to his diet. Like she was feeding him muffins and a lot of sugary stuff. And it's like, for anybody, if I'm you feed me, 5 cups of coffee and an energy drink and tell me to go take a nap, that's just not happening. And
right.
so so having the knowledge to understand what can impact my child's development, what can impact my child's learning, what can impact me, what can impact my function of what I got to do to handle my business, or can to have that balance in my life. So what that's the number one thing I think is knowledge. And then the other thing, it's okay to ask for help.
Yes.
It's okay. It's actually, you know, and I had to come to that grip, that or my own understanding. Like he's like, I'm the mom. I'm supposed to do this, this, and this, and it's like, no, really, like you don't have to do everything. And it's like you have people around you, you can delegate. Or like I am emotionally overwhelmed. It's okay to get counseling. It's go ahead to go to a church service and get prayer over you. It's okay to say I'm not okay. It's not, and I think especially moms, but I think as adults we have this thing, and I don't know why we have it because, and I say we because I am included, But
Mhm.
like that, it's not okay that I'm not okay. But if you haven't dealt with it, you can't improve it. So that's like I want to say those are the two biggest things: knowledge and being okay with not being okay, and get that help.
That is huge. Um, I'm included. I'm included in that person who wouldn't acknowledge that I wasn't okay until it came spilling over that I wasn't okay. Right. And so, and then that put me in a different place. And so just be proactive and reach out and be willing to ask for help because no okay 100% of the time. We're going to have our valleys. So it's good to reach out for help. I hope that blesses somebody.
I think the other thing too that I hear is as we're on social media, but um a lot of social media gives this false sense of like my life is in shambles, like this person's life is perfect, and nobody's life is perfect, and it's just an illusion. It's like it's easy to turn the camera on and off, but
Yep.
it's not easy to do is you can't step in and out of your life. This is
Right.
your life, and everybody goes through something, and you don't know what that person has done to get to where they're at. And it's okay to be upset. I don't understand why we put this on ourselves, and I still say we, where we just like, no, I'm not upset, I'm not upset. But no, you're upset. It's okay. Those are your true emotions.
Yes.
And as parents, and this is I have a 21-year-old and a 4-year-old. And with the 21-year-old, I was always in go mode. I was the parent who she never saw any other emotions besides mommy is happy and she's gonna do it. And I can do it by myself. I'll figure it out. That's what I'm gonna do. And so now, as the 21-year-old, she's in graduate school, and that's how she functions, and it's not healthy.
Hmm.
And understanding that you are an example to your kids, and they're gonna mimic you. And so I miss the piece of saying having that true emotion. Okay, I'm sad. Like this happened to me. I'm sad. I need to have time to myself, and it's okay for me to recollect myself. That's part of it. Or I'm upset, or I'm mad. This is what happened. Now, I'm not being mad and going and throwing furniture around the place, but showing true emotions. So like kids can understand when you're mad, it's okay to be mad, and this is how you react. So some people say I'm mad and they go for a walk, or they do, but kids need to see, other people need to see you are the example. So that within itself, that is something I had to learn.
That's good. So, what you talked about diet that can affect some children.
They say it again.
What roles do the environment play in change? For example, how do the people, routines, and habits around someone influence whether they rise or repeat their past?
Um, so one of the things that I function on structure.
Okay.
And I know people, they say they're free spirit and they don't and they can't function. I don't care what you do in life, there is some kind of structure behind it. Like everything, whether you get a job, okay, you go to work at the same time, you go to places, you have your okay, we might have meetings at a certain day. Like you go to McDonald's, they have breakfast from this time to this time. Like everything has its place in its structure. And so when you're one thing I tell people, you have to have some kind of routine. You have to. And have an understanding when you're creating those routines, you're going to start off and it's going to be fight against whether you're doing a routine for yourself, doing your routine for your kids. You yourself are going to fight against these routines. The kids are going to fight against these routines, but you got to stick with them. But you
Mhm.
also have to have the flexibility that things happen. Like my daughter has a bedtime routine. We start at 8 o'clock. And so we do certain things But sometimes something may happen where we might have had to go out late, so it pushed the time back or something. But we have our routine, and that's how we function. And once you keep doing those routines, it creates habit. And also, you need to have an environment that supports you, meaning there's a physical and an emotional environment. So you need to have people that are going to be around you that's going to support and help get the best out of you. If you had bad habits and bad routines, and you had those group of people that were enablers of your bad habits and bad routines, it may be, especially when you're trying to do the change, it may be a time to change the position of those people in your life, because you will just go back to that. As my mother always said, birds of a feather flock together.
It's true.
So you will go back to those bad habits and routines. And you got to have an environment that supports what you're trying to do. Like, if you're trying to study for exam, you don't go study in the middle of a football stadium at a football game. That's just not going to be supportive. So you got to make sure the physical and the emotional environment supports what your goals are that you're trying to accomplish.
That is good and great advice. I have been a part where I've had individuals around me who didn't necessarily bring out the best in me and just were not the best influence. And to tell the truth, not too long ago in my life. And so, but I recognized where I was. I recognized what I wanted to, where I'm going, and and I've surrounded myself around good company, good individuals, like-minded individuals, and I had to let certain things and certain individuals fall by the wayside. I still love you, but I just can't engage on that level anymore because um, it's not beneficial to me.
Yeah.
And so, and that can be hard to do because you can be
Very
really
hard.
fond and love those individuals, fond
Very
of them
hard.
and love them. I'm like, this relationship isn't building like it needs to build,
Yeah.
And so like what we doing, we messing around, we wasting time with this,
Yeah.
So it's just like, no, so
It is very hard to change the relationship when you built a relationship that created the not so positive behaviors or whatever, and now you're trying to switch, because
mhm,
not only are you going to have to push back, but they're going to push back too. It's like, I'm not good enough, or whatever comes out. As I remember, I was talking to a business coach one time, and they said that you have to get in the room with other entrepreneurs, and you have to get in the room with entrepreneurs that are at your level. They said, so if you have a business and you're making $100,000, you don't want to be in the room with somebody who's making, $3,000 a month. Like, you want to so you change that environment because you're a product of your environment. You
yeah,
go in and you hear different problems too.
yes,
Like, so even like, as you spoke about, as you had a daughter who's on the spectrum, um having the people who have the around you the lack of knowledge or understanding of what that means, and you having to create the routines and patterns that's going to support your daughter's need. I'm sure that was difficult, because it's like, I'm trying to explain to you, like these are my daughter's needs.
mhm,
And then, you know I'm gonna say this old school, respectfully, for our elders, because you know, my parents are elders. My mom is very old school, and so how about this? I won't talk about my mom. I'll talk about. I saw a video on social media, and it was a senior mother who had her grandson who was on the spectrum, but he had a lot of major issues that grandma didn't know about. And I don't think she understood. Watching his behavior, I can tell he was on the spectrum. I don't think grandma understood that she was on the spectrum, but she was trying to discipline him, old school discipline. So she was trying to spank him because he wasn't listening. Well, when you have a lot of sensory needs or sensory issues, and sit him in flight or fight. So he's in fight mode. Now he's fighting grandma, and he looks like he's about 11. He's not that much smaller than her. And so it's a full out brawl in the car. He's biting her and everything. And it's the lack of knowledge. And so I don't know where the mother is, but there somewhere in there that grandma needs to change kind of her knowledge and understanding. But if mom is involved, that might be an issue if she has the knowledge where she might have to change the environment. But like, mom, let me pull my son out of this situation and try to figure out how to handle this because what you're doing is not supporting. And I mean,
Mm-mm.
like literally, it was a full out brawl in the car. So um,
Terrible.
sometimes it's just because the lack of knowledge of the people around you, they can't support you. You're just not at that point.
Great point. You often discuss balance and mental health. What advice would you give people to achieve a balance among work, school, family, and self care?
Yes, that's all I can say. No, just kidding. um, all of them is very, very, very important. I watched a clip, and it was like a 30-second clip, and Michelle Obama said it. She said, anybody can have it all, but you can't have it all at once. And I'm like, that makes all the sense in the world because as moms, we try to do everything, and there's only 24 hours in the day, and you're supposed to sleep 8 of them and work another 8. That means you got 8 hours to include travel time, self-care, trying to drink water, exercise, take care of the kids, bond with the kids, bond with your husband, cook dinner. Like there, that is just does not
Right.
happen. So you have to set realistic goals and expectations. So, um, one of the things I did is I have never done a business plan before. And this year I said, I'm going to do a business plan because I know I operate on a lot of structure. Like, tell me when I need to brush my teeth. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I operate on a lot of structure. And so one of the things is in my business plans was my personal goals, which is trying to figure out my self-care. And so in there, I have a certain amount of massages, not self massage, massages that I'm supposed to give myself. A certain amount of times I'm supposed to get a pedicure. Certain amount of times I'm supposed to exercise. But then I made a calendar and I have, okay, well, this is a day I can go do yoga, or this is a day, like, so it's realistic. Like, I can't walk every day. I would love to, but it's not a realistic goal. So you have to set realistic goals and then work towards them. And when you're doing like a structuring a schedule or anything like that, you can't have every minute filled up with something. That was another thing I had to work on. I wanted every minute like done. Like you gotta have some free time, some playtime, some time where it's just nothing. But you work in there just like anybody that goes to a 9 to 5 or anybody that's an entrepreneur. You have your times that you work and you don't miss those meetings. If your job says that you work from 9 to 5, you work 9 to 5. You don't miss that time unless you're sick or on vacation. So that's how you have to do your self care. Okay, once a month, I'm going to go have a massage. And this is my time, and I got to work my other stuff around that. So make a calendar, make a time where you have your non-negotiable, your job. That's your non-negotiable. If you got to pick up the kids or take them to the sports, that's your non-negotiable. But there should be a regular time, whether it's once a week, once a month, once every 2 weeks, what it is, where you have me time. And your me time is your self-care, your mental break, and that or your exercise. I would do exercise and your me time separate. But But that is something that you have to recognize, that it is just as important as your 9 to 5. Because if you don't take care of your mental health, then you're not going to your job. Because that stroke, that heart attack, diabetes, hypertension, cardiovascular disease is going to hit you.
Dr. Tamara, thank you. Thank you for giving me permission to um, be that detailed in my planning. I never thought about it that way. I know you're not giving me permission, but the light bulb went off. I was, I do keep a planner, but it's primarily for my entrepreneurial business.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily pencil me in on that planner. And it's very important. Everything that you shared, your exercise time, your me time. You may not be able to do the same exercises 4 or 5 times a week, but if there's one thing that you love to do, like you say, you like yoga, so you make sure you set aside a time and have that penciled in your planner
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
you're able to do that. I like the hiking trail. I need to make time to get out there and just put it in my planner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's very, very, very important to include them into your part of your self-care. Another thing to do as well, and I don't know why we find it. I know at one point, so I have a cleaning lady that comes to the house and clean the house. At one point, I was embarrassed to say that, but it's like, no, like I only have so many hours in a day, and as you know, running a business is a good chunk of your time. If
Hmm.
you have kids, that's a chunk of your time. So why not? If you have the financial means, by all means, you got to have the financial means to do it. If you have the financial means to take something off your plate that is a chore, then by all means do that so you can do the stuff that you need to do to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
I went to some seminar about, he was like buying flipping houses or something. I don't know. But one of the things I got from there, nothing about his business, but he said, I think he said he makes like $200-300 an hour. And he said, I am not going to stop what I'm doing to do a min, and nothing to knock anybody who does, these jobs, but he's like, I'm not going to stop and doing what I need to do. Stop making $300 an hour for a job I can pay somebody to do $20 an hour, because that means I've lost $300 an hour. And I was like,
Makes
oh.
sense.
It's like, well, okay, all right.
Hmm.
So I have gotten to the point to admit, yes, I have a cleaning lady. I hate cleaning tubs and showers, but it does mean that I can spend more time with my daughter. I can
Yes.
go all over the place with all her stuff that she has going on, and then I can still have time for myself.
I think that's self care. I think that's
It is. It is. It is.
yeah.
But then you have those people who are not very supportive. I'm like, what? Why would you? You got some? I can't have nobody come clean to my house. Okay.
Okay. Right. And they stress and they fuss and they, raise hell because they're stretched thin.
Right.
Yeah. So
So that is definitely, if you can pay somebody to do it, do it. Make your self-care just as important as your regular 9 to 5 job or your entrepreneur business. And structure a schedule that does not take up every minute of the calendar time. Like give you some blank times in there, because life happens.
okay. Tell the audience, how can parents help their children build independence and resilience without feeling like they have to do it all alone? Kind of touched on this earlier.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it all alone. Don't. Don't. Um, One of the things, so my 4-year-old and my 21-year-old, I taught them independence, starting very young. Like I teach them independence because you just never know what's going to happen to yourself, and you want them to be able to make it. And
Hmm.
so even like now, my 4-year-old, she knows how to make her breakfast. She makes her own bowl of cereal. We have a routine. She gets up in the morning. She has to put on her clothes, brush her teeth, make her bed before she comes down and have breakfast. So she's starting with her independence. Okay. Now she gets up in the morning. I wake her up, leave her be. Now that frees me up so I can do what I need to do. And it's okay. You're a parent. You don't have to be the servant. I think for some reason parents think that we have to do everything and they're, oh, but they're so little and that's my baby. But they're not going to be a baby forever. And if you don't teach the independence, what you'll have is a 35-year-old person. Michelle Obama, she said it too. She's like, she said you got to teach independence and boundaries. Otherwise, you'll have a 35-year-old adult living in your basement expecting you to do everything. So
Yep.
it's okay to set the boundaries. It's okay to say no to your kids. It's okay that they get upset. That's an emotion. They can have those emotions. They get upset. And just remember what we talked about before. As a parent, when we get upset, we set the example on the behaviors of what it looks like. And so they will learn, okay, I'm upset, but I'm not going to throw a tantrum and roll around on the floor. I'm upset. Like mine, what she does now, she folds her arm and she's like, I'm mad. Okay, fine. She could be mad because she can't have what she wants. But in life, you can't have everything you want. So have these realistic behaviors and interactions with your kids. Your kid is not supposed to be happy 24/7. And you are not responsible for your kids' happiness and your kids' entertainment. They have to learn how to entertain themselves. They have to learn how to feel their own time. Because otherwise, if they expect you to do everything, you do everything, that's a job that you have created for the rest of your life.
Very great advice. I 100% agree with everything you just shared on that one. If you could tell every young person one thing about taking charge of their own growth, mental, physical, and emotional, what would it be?
Educate and balance.
Okay.
Educate yourself about what you need to improve. I should say three things: educate, balance, and get help.
Okay.
Educate yourself on what you need to do to improve. Get help where you're lacking. Somebody else may be able to help you and fill that gap for you. So you're not trying to be Superman and cover everything. That's just not possible. What did I say now? I said ask for, oh, and then mental health.
Okay.
Plan your, don't overdo. That's what it was. Don't overdo it. So sometimes we get to the point where we are 200% one way and neglect everything else. Like you'll have that person who says they're going to be the fitness guru and they neglect work and everything else, but they've run 100 miles in 2 days. There's no balance. Or that person who doesn't eat right or whatever, but they're working 80 hours a week. They don't sleep, they don't do anything, and they're just working. So you got to have that balance. Have work time, play time. If you work, you got to play. You got to play. Like, don't work to not play. Work, play. But good play. And not too much play. Don't play and not work. So balance. Ask for help, balance, educate yourself.
You hear that, audience? Balance, educate yourself, and what was that? Balance, educate yourself, and I forgot what the other one was. Just that quick.
Look, we both tired.
But
Ask for help. Ask for help. Get help.
ask for help.
Get help where you're lacking.
Ask for help. And see, as you see right there, we do need some help sometimes. So, Dr. Tamara, this has really been a great conversation. You have shed some light for me as a mother, uh, having balance. Of course, I've learned my lesson about asking for help, and not to be ashamed to ask for help. It's okay to not be okay. I know that now. Oh my goodness. And sometimes we need to lean on others, and that's what God has certain people in our lives for,
Mhm.
and to be a support as well. And so, but the balance thing is key. Thank you so much for everything you shared with us. Do you have any closing remarks for our audience before I close out?
Um, just basically that's it. As parents, parenting is a job that you signed up for that you have no training. Every job you have in life, between the cashier and everything, there's a training. Parenting is not a training. There's no training. Old school parents will be like, "Oh, instincts will come in, kick in." No, they don't.
Mhm.
Ask for help, get knowledge, stay off of social media, stay off of Google. Google is not the answer to everything. Google will have you losing your mind. So don't do that. If you have questions for me, you want to reach out to me, you can reach me at Skills to Thrive OT. Skills, is it on here? Yep, skills with the S, skills, more than one skill, skills to thrive OT. I'm on Facebook, Instagram. So you can follow me, have questions. I also have a information portal for any parents who want to join. So if you reach out to me on social media, I will send you the link so you can sign up. Half of it's free, the other half is not, where we do live question and answer sessions where you can ask live questions about what you may have going on and what you might need help with.
That's awesome.
How do I get my kid to get on that scheduled routine? How do I get them to take off their clothes when then I know they can do it at bedtime? So um that is how you can reach out to me.
Well, thank you again. I really enjoyed this, everyone. You have just finished watching us on the topic of balance in an unbalanced world. If you didn't catch all of it, make sure you go back and watch this live and share with your loved ones, save it, and reach out to Dr. Tamara Antonino if you need some of her services. And you all have a blessed and wonderful evening. Thank you for tuning in.